I came to visit my mother today, and she just got done having a garage sale recently. She went through a lot of different items in her garage, and one of the items was this scarecrow. And I wanted to make this video to talk about the entrepreneurial spirit. When I was very young, I remember visiting a construction site near our old home. And a lot of these construction workers had scrap wood that was in a dumpster. And I asked some of the construction workers if I could have some of that scrap wood. And they wanted to know what I wanted to do with some of this scrap material. And I told them I was interested in woodworking and I wanted to try to make something out of it. I really didn't have a lot of skill at a very young age when it came to woodworking, but I did have a hand jigsaw. And I remember it vividly. It was a Craftsman hand jigsaw. It was black plastic with red or orange lettering on it. And it wasn't very dangerous. It wasn't like using a circular saw or something like that. The jigsaw blade went up and down, and it wasn't high RPM. And I loved using that jigsaw to cut out different shapes from various scrap pieces of wood. So I got this idea to custom manufacture these scarecrows. And this head was actually cut out by that old jigsaw from a scrap piece of wood. And I then spray painted the face tan yellow, and I painted the hat with black spray paint, and then the nose and mouth, eyes, and the straw coming out of his hat was painted by hand with acrylic and a small brush. Then I got some 1x2 pieces of wood, and I simply made a cross. That way there was a torso and arms. And then I got some old shirts from various people who no longer wanted them. And then on the bottom of the 1x2, I used the hand jigsaw to create a point. That way you could push it into the ground easily. And I put some of these at the end of our old driveway, and neighbors purchased them for $20. Some people from our church purchased them as well. And I even think some people that passed by the home bought some of these. And I ended up selling quite a few of these. In fact, I ran out and there was a demand from people at the church to custom manufacture more. So I ended up creating a bit of a small assembly line in the basement of our old home to custom manufacture these scarecrows. And I ended up selling quite a few of these, and I saved all of that money. And I used a lot of that money along with some money that I made from mowing lawns and working at a landscaping company down the street to purchase my very first car. I really was fascinated with cars when I was younger, and I really wanted to have a cool car when I turned 16. Now, when I first started building these, I was probably 11 or 12 years old, and I started saving money at that age, and I continued to save money until I was old enough to get a car. So I wanted to share this with you today because I think there are a lot of different ways that someone can make money. Now, this was kind of a way that I could earn money at an early age before I could really even, get a job at most businesses. And there might be side hustles that you could do right now on the side and make money. I'm not suggesting you make scarecrows. I really don't know how well these would sell. A lot of people don't even have a garden anymore, and a lot of family farms have been bought up by large corporations. So – Scarecrow business is probably not as, profitable as it once was many decades ago when I was very young. But there may be something else. If you're interested in crafts, you might be able to come up with a project that you could potentially sell online. There are so many different platforms online where you can sell things nowadays, and you can reach a worldwide audience. I sold these locally to people that drove by the house or to people at church that knew I was making them, and some of them thought they were cute. So now the sky's the limit, though. You have access to the internet and you can sell items across the world. Now, something like this would be difficult to ship. It's large, it would be expensive, but you never know what kind of small items you could custom manufacture at home and then sell all across the globe. So I just really wanted to share this story with you. I've always been an entrepreneur at heart ever since I was young, and I've continued to look for opportunities as they present themselves throughout my life. I can share another story with you. When I was teaching public school many decades ago, I really wasn't earning much money, and a friend of mine had been managing a fast food restaurant after he completed his business degree, and he was complaining about the lawn care company that was unresponsive to his phone calls, and he told me that the lawn at his fast food restaurant started to look terrible. And as a manager of a fast food restaurant, you get graded by corporate, and they come out and they look at how clean your kitchen is, how clean your awning is at the drive-through, do you have gum on your drive-through pad, they look at your lawn, your landscaping beds, all of these things, and they rate you. It's your job as a manager to make sure that your fast food restaurant is looking good for customers. So he asked me if I could help him out and if I could mow his fast food restaurant. And at first, I really wasn't interested. I mean, I had a professional job. I really wasn't all that interested in going out early in the morning and mowing because it had to be completed prior to 10 a.m. But I told him I'd help him out. So I hauled my lawnmower over to this fast food restaurant and my weed whacker, and I mowed it. And some of the employees there commented about how nice it looked when I was done. I pulled some of the weeds, and I really did a good job. I remember sweeping up some of the cigarette butts at the drive-through lane. Anyway, he was impressed with the work that I had done, and he told me that he was going to reach out to his district manager or regional manager, I can't remember which, and ask if I could have the contract for mowing his location that season. And so a short time later, I got a call from him, and that district manager or regional manager green-lighted me maintaining that lawn throughout the season. So it really didn't take that much time. So I started doing that, and this managerial team was interested in having me mow more locations. So I ended up buying more equipment, and I got a trailer. Then I started to find subcontractors that I could hire, that I could 1099, and I started to mow several locations around the city, and it turned into a side business, and I started making a pretty good deal of money doing that, even after paying all of the 1099 subcontractors. So you never know where something is going to take you. And I had really had no interest in starting that lawn care business, but it became profitable, and I started to not only mow fast food restaurants, but I started to mow single-family homes. I started mowing some apartments, and it became a pretty profitable enterprise. And I was surprised by how much businesses were willing to pay. I mean, I itemized everything that I did for these fast food restaurants. I charged a certain amount of money per bush. I charged for maintaining the mulch beds. I charged for blowing the drive-through pad and the dumpster area. If they wanted pressure washing done at the drive-through lanes, I did that too. I would do the pressure washing late at night. I'd do the mowing early in the morning. At one time, one of the managers wanted me to start pressure washing all of the drive-through pads all around the city. I told him I really didn't want to invest in heavy-duty pressure washing equipment to do that with, because to do it well, you really need heat. And I didn't want to scale up and buy all that expensive equipment. I really wanted to focus on the mowing, really didn't want to get into heavy-duty pressure washing at all these drive-through locations around the city. Also wasn't fun going out to those locations late at night with a crew of different people. Some of those restaurants were in less than desirable areas, and sometimes the crew that I would bring with me, would ask me, "Is this safe to even be out here?" One of the guys even joked. He said, "I'm not worried about it. I've got a pressure washer. I can spray somebody who gets too close and looks threatening." So you never know what opportunities are out there in the world. It really is a large world. There's a lot of money out there. There are a lot of businesses that have a hard time getting contractors to come out and do good work. And I always did good work. I made sure that everything always looked really great before I left. There were no cigarette butts anywhere on the property. There was no trash on the property. I made sure that all the bushes were perfectly groomed. The mulch beds looked great. If there were any rocks that were out of place because someone kicked them, I put them all back where they needed to go. And everything always looked wonderful when I left. And sometimes big companies, they don't provide that attention to detail. And that particular fast food company really appreciated that level of detail. And it was noticed by people up the chain. And that's why they offered me multiple locations. At one time, I was offered a lot of locations, and I turned that down. I really didn't want to scale it up that big. I had a day job, and I felt as though I'd have to get rid of my day job teaching public school to be able to focus on that business full time. I mean, who knows? Maybe I should have done that, and I could have had a huge operation. I could have had fast food restaurants statewide, but we'll never know, because I declined that opportunity to take on a lot of other locations. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you have ever been involved with any type of entrepreneurial endeavors, let me know about that. I'd really love to hear what you have done in your life to make money and how it worked out for you. See everybody in the next video.